not always able to guarantee that you're going to get yourself an engaged support, as we can see BLG right now potentially looking for that Lucian Nami duo.
Yep, going to bring it back. Okay, hasn't been the most popular thing in recent weeks, but at the very least, some teams still stuck on it. Elk and On, so far in their playoffs, we haven't actually seen it. Elk has been someone who's picked out the Zeri, picked out the Aphelios, a Xayah game there as well. We're going to get that answer momentarily, though, as BLG. They get that jungle priority here, Lyric. And as you said, Shun fulfilling that role and that pivotal engage piece.
Yeah, now it's for BLG, JDG with where they want to answer. Again, Lee Sin has been much more of Kanavi's bread and butter, but if they're wanting to play out more heavily through 5v5s, get some of that front line on board, the Wukong would be a really nice pivot, as it looks like we're probably going to end up with two very, team fight-centric compositions. Leans really well into how BLG like to play the game, and JDG, even if I feel like they typically do draft more pick-oriented champs, that they're still incredibly strong in team fights.
Right now, though, JDG are flexing around another part of that element, which is going to be the Annie here. So straight away to mid, Lyric, there's no question of a flex here. It's going tonight. And they just leave Kanavi a little bit high and dry for the time being while BLG do the duo that you were kind of expecting at the very least, right? Or do they say, hey, hell's bells with Lucian, let's get Yagao in a strong matchup?
No, I feel like they're definitely going to lock this one in. And maybe that's why JDG felt so confident about being like, hey, we don't really care about the Annie being a flex pick because we're going to lock in mid here, and you're not going to be able to respond if you want to get that priority duo coming on through. So for BLG, you would feel like the answer should be to just continue pinching out junglers, take away, the Wukong, take away the Lee Sin, and then leave it in Kanavi's hands with, what is still going to be available for him. I guess he showed things like the Viego earlier that he was hovering over. Sure. That could be a potential answer, but everything else that he's played so far the split has been an AP champion.
I think you're still looking at the flexibility in such a positive light for Kanavi. As you're highlighting, not only Viego, but Nidalee, the Elise has come through. Your point about AP champions, even a Gragas. Yes, Silas jungle. Kanavi can carry on anything, and I think that's kind of the difference where Shun has a very set champion pool, Lyric, then goes to facilitators. Kanavi's never ends. And with Elise in banned away, we know there's still an option here for one of those carries to come through, especially with the setup he's already got. But let's just wait and see as double jungle ban for BLG, but JDG, they're getting rid of more topsiders. They're trying to knuckle down on Bin a little bit further.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Fiora ban here, then maybe force him into the Renekton, which is what I'd expect BLG to go to. Casante's still available, but Bin really hasn't liked the pick. I mean, it actually even came out like some clips of his coaches talking about, getting Bin to play this champion has been hard. He's played it twice. He's 0-2 on it. But I feel like that would be what most teams would pick here. But BLG having Bin is not most teams.
Yeah, that's right. Again, this little Misfits crew, okay, definitely not like most teams. Lyric, technically a flex. We've seen Bin on this before, but we've also seen a hell of a lot of games of Jayce mid in the LPL.
Yeah, definitely a more standard mid lane meta pick this split. We've seen Yagao play the champ a few times, but so far going to be pretty starving for any type of AP damage coming on through. But I guess for JDG's side, they actually don't really have a massive front line. They can still draft one. Both Sion and Casante are still on the table, and we see them go towards the Viego that I was sitting on earlier. So far for JDG, setting up for an incredibly strong 5v5 if they lock in the Sion.
Okay, there it is. 9s across the board, as the gentleman on his phone would agree, but this gives Bin counter pick. And Lyric, we have seen a little bit of his Gwen throughout the split. We've seen it a little bit in playoffs as well. This would give Bin a bit of agency and a melee top laner for Shun to play towards. Okay, all hail Bin again, as BLG try to get this game fast off the ground.
Yeah, great pick by them. Making sure they have some magic damage in their composition. Pairs well with the Sejuani, and also going to be having a pretty easy time into that Sion up in top lane. So when I'm looking at BLG, I'm looking at all the agency they have early on in the game. Really strong one-item power spikes coming out through mid, coming out through bot lane. So we want to see Elk, Yagao and On really performing well, to where for JDG, I feel like it is a little bit slower. You want to get some items under your belt. Kanavi needs to get to level 6 before that reset's going to start coming online, and that's impacting skirmishes. But later on, should have quite a nice front line and, much better deep.
Gould, RNG, and Weibo, who are supporting some pretty big league players themselves. So BLG, can they do the same against JDG as we debut our double elimination, our round 4, our top 4 in the LPL? 50% of our teams left will be going to MSI. Will it be JDG or BLG? Hopefully we get an answer here as JDG start with an invade on the bottom side of the map, but BLG have spotted this out. They get a bit of damage with first strike as well. And there'll just be a bit of a chase to back them off.
JDG getting kited out at level 1. Great spot by BLG to make sure that nothing comes of this. And we were just talking about, right, first game of the top 4. Also the first time that these organizations have played together, all the way played against each other, going all the way back to 2018. Wow. BLG, we know, typically don't make those deep playoff runs. Have only ever actually done it once in their history before. So really the ability to make history today for this organization overall.
It's funny, they were knocked out of the top 4 in 2019 spring, I believe, if my history is not too far off there. Summer, good call. That was the ADD, Kuro, Meteor, Jinzhao, and Shinmo roster. And they were knocked out by Top Esports. So again, JDG and Top Esports feel like they go hand in hand in terms of their debut into the LPL. Their organizations surge to power as well, especially with the recent history they've had in things like finals going to game number 5. So with JDG, again, a lot of expectations behind them and a lot of bad history that BLG, if they equate that to Top Esports, can now look at JDG with the same favor. Now, Lyric, we are in the game, as you were talking about in draft. For JDG, it feels like they are going to rely on Ruler as this game goes on, as usual with the Zeri Lulu, especially with the front line. But talk to me a little bit about how BLG get these lanes up and running and what jungle can do to really build a bridge to speed tempo up.
Yeah, for Sion, I'm definitely looking at especially how he impacts mid early on. You know, again, you have the Jayce there, really nice damage to be able to follow up. We can see him pathing towards the bot side and then using that pressure to make sure On and L don't face too much punishment like they are now. I know usually with like melee top, melee jungle, you could see him go towards and gank 369 early. But again, as he gets more and more resistances, mid and bot going to be the only plan of action.
Heal already there. Flash there as well. Ruler and missing. Baiting in. It's a double trade for double trade. The health bar in advantage of JDG.
Great job coming out from Ruler and missing. And this is what JDG relies on. JDG typically don't link up too much between their lanes. They rely on their players to get advantages on their own. Now Kanavi should be able to read this, that since they're winning so hard, that Shun's probably going to make his way down towards bot side. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see jungles meet up at some time in the near future.
Just a little win rate of Zeri versus Lucian there, I believe, in the LPL spring split. Not a surprise with how strong Zeri's been, but we're going to have to pause on that because Kanavi, as you said, down here and showing his presence crystal clear. He's got a level advantage as well, Lyric. And on the Shun, he can't even clear that ward. So Kanavi will just assert his dominance, push him out, get Scuttle Crab in the meantime. And it helps when JDG right now have presence across bot and mid at the same time.
Yeah, Kanavi, I want to see if he ends up going for topside Scuttle, or he just wants to keep being an annoyance and getting in Shun's face. He's never going to get to take this blue buff.
And On can't come in. Look at his health bar. I mean, Kanavi will just almost one-shot him as blue resets. Shun has to back away. The level of chadness from Kanavi right now is huge. I say that, goes in the top lane. Been looking for a solo kill at level 4 on the Gwen. Is it snip time? Oh, under the turret. Finn takes a shot. Can't go any further. That was too close.
The discipline coming out from 369 is absolutely insane. How does he not flash there? And not only not flash, stop to charge up the Q.
Meanwhile, oh no, Elk has to cleanse away. He has no flash. Kanavi's now burned his last summoner as JDG the wave crashing in. Teleports there, but against the turret, will they be there in time? Flash for first blood. As Knight under turret, he's going to be bopped away. I believe he stopped Yagao's teleport, Lyric. And JDG, they will get traded on in the end. You saw a kill went over to Elk with the turret shot onto missing. But a 1-for-1 with gold, favoring Jingo.
Definitely denying a wave from Elk. So Ruler only going to accelerate his own growth while denying the Lucian from getting to that pivotal first item mark. On will at least be a little bit of an annoyance to prevent Kanavi's back, which is going to give Shun a ton of time. We already saw in that topside jungle to take away some of these camps and deny the Viego from getting any closer to that level 6 point.
Look at a replay. Kanavi, as you said, Lyric, I mean, it just goes from bullying to straight into the lane.
Yeah, he just stuck around bot side this whole time. Taking away jungle camps, comes in. A TP tries to come out, but that did end up getting canceled by Knight, which is why it was so low. But we see the bottom left hand of our corner.
Ooh, okay, it's happening again, isn't it? 369. It was almost a solo kill, but now it's a duo. Getting him down, the Sion bullied out, and Finn finally getting the kill that he missed out on before.
So Shun, another thing off the checklist, right? Ganking 369 early before he's able to get too tanky, and in that this lane becomes more of just Bin able to assert his dominance in the 1v1. But the problem they're going to have to problem solve incredibly quick is what they do in this spot lane. Because Ruler and Missing can be able to keep good pressure. Elk at least has Noon Quiver now off his last back. So a little bit more power behind that punch, but not enough power to deny or stop Kanavi from taking the Drake.
He's already picked it up, and now with that first blood as well, hang on, Knight just doing a bit of trading with Yagao. With a little bit of first strike gold as well as he clears out the wave. Yagao suffering in this lane, but Lyric, as you mentioned, Dragon was taken by Yagao. He then goes back into the enemy jungle just to spot out, and he's found Shun again.
And he feels comfortable, especially being around mid lane where Knight is.
Hang on, Ruler went forward on that one. B2 doesn't care. He's going to barrier up. He's got the shield of Missing behind. There's the shield once again burnt by On. And Elk doesn't have the flash for Elpos. Need to work in the top lane. Bin got level 6 again. Giga Bin once more. That's his solo kill finally coming through. BLG's top laner, Lyric, Mr. Reliable.
Bin said he felt like the best top laner in the league was the Shy, and he was able to get past him, so making it look like 369 not up to the task today.
I was going to say, he's damn wrong. I mean, the Shy, the best top laner, brother, I know. I know, again,
top
everyone
laners,
looks
they
towards
say it
him.
every split. They say every split, our top laners get asked in interviews, who's the hardest top laner to play against? And they always say the Shy. Doesn't matter what year, what split, how... Ruler?
JDG, Elk almost dead, the zap not landing, and Ruler almost dies himself. Lyric, the energy just doesn't stop.
It doesn't, and Kanavi still wanting to stick around. Knight making his way over 2. Won't turn into a kill, but he's going to lose out on more minions, more gold, more experience, and more plates going over to Ruler.
This is just JDG's playstyle through and through. I mean, the lane of bot, as you said, is going to be how JDG play towards this late game. Ruler's level 6. He's 10, 15 CS ahead. The only thing BLG have right now, Lyric, is this.
Yeah, Bin just able to chase him down. Gets the Conqueror fully stacked, and you know where it comes out. 369 still doesn't have flash from the previous play. I mean, even had he stopped to try to get out any damage at QAW, it wouldn't have made a difference. Too far forward in the lane, and been able to capitalize.
And we've seen Sion versus Gwen. We've seen small CS leads, but this is monstrous. 30 CS, 2 kills, Leeching Lear now picked up. Bin is a solid level ahead. And it just feels like, again, for BLG, knowing how strong Bin is in the lane, as I have to pause because Knight might be in a bit of trouble. Shun angling for this, but has no flash. The ulti is not enough to pivot. It will go to the top side, though, Lyric, in the meantime, while using that said strong lane to finally get an objective.
And for JDG, they won't have an answer. Kanavi making the right choice, even, you know, if they do have an inkling that it's going on because Gwen's not showing top, of we can't contest that, just keep hammering home on our winning lane. And that's why I think this will be an interesting test for BLG. Gold's even, but BLG typically went out from Elk being incredibly strong and being able to win out through those 5v5s. He's the highest percent of his team's damage for any player in the league. That's how much BLG rely on Elk. But this time, it's going to have to be on Bin's shoulders to carry this game.
Something like 33%, isn't it? It's an insane stat. It's Uzi level 80 carry stats, right?
Yeah, it's, again, it's going back to days of like when Jackie Love was putting up, you know, that percentage of his team relying on him as Ruler. Gonna get caught out.
As a way over the wall, unfortunately. Ruler, though, you show he is fallible to Elk and On once they get some of those trades off. We'll just walk back, pops a pot. Meanwhile, I think Tibbers made a guest appearance towards the mid lane. And Yagao currently sitting in the base as teleport will be used to get back nice and quickly, but let's be real, even though Gold's even, mid, bot, Lyric right now going fantastically, and Kanavi seems to keep on benefiting, even having a bit of a CS lead himself. So we'll see what Shun can do. Ooh,
Bubble comes out.
He does flash away. Missing's okay. Glitterland slows down for Culling. Ulti there. He's already used Wild Growth, but it ain't enough. Kill taken away by Shun as great timing to get bot back on track.
Nice job, relieves the pressure. They even have Herald if they want to just choose to drop it now and get some more gold onto the Lucian. Kanavi looking to match, but Yagao's here waiting in the wings.
Kanavi, what can he get done here with double buffs? He's going to show his face. Herald's going to get a charge, but you can see On's already backing away. Elk is pivoting as well. Gold will be shared between AD and jungle. Even a third plate, or at least a second, coming through. So, gold back over to BLG and Lyric because of it. A 1k gold lead. I mean, again, top's just so massive that even though bot went so well, that bit of turret plating just levels the playing field more for BLG.
And I feel like we're seeing one of the big differences between these teams. Coming into today, it's like, okay, JDG, they typically play out through the fact that their laners are just able to generate advantages and allow Kanavi to be in your face, go for those invades that we're seeing. But like we see here, there isn't actually much roaming or linking up between the lanes themselves. Even Kanavi, not as gank heavy as Shun has been this split. BLG have been much better about, again, working as a unit, transferring pressure. And hell, this is with on the Nami this game. If On did get his hands onto a Rakan or Leona or a Nautilus, something along those lines, you'll see a much more proactive BLG.
Well, we'll see what he can do here at the very least. He doesn't have Tidal Wave, but we might be getting a fight as Blast Cone amped up for On. He'll take it to Shun, has to back away. Knight now zoning off. Glitterland for the slow. There's Tibbers onto the jungle, but they dart onto missing Yagao. Stunned up, but shielding shouldn't be enough, and it won't be. Missing drops down as the ult comes through from Ruler. He gets over the wall with the shock coming through, but Kanavi has a reset. Kanavi has a reset. Oh. He's got another one, but he's denied. Only in the nick of time as Bin joins in. Here's Daddy. But Bin has walked his way out. Ghost has already been taken. JDG now looking back on the Dragon. There's no smite for either team at 2K. They're now just thinking about it as BLG lose 2 members. Looks like JDG lost missing a while ago. They'll take an even trade.
I was going to say, this is going to be dicey. We're going to be playing on a nice edge if JDG opted to doing this with how low Ruler is in the face of a Lucian Nami combo. Elk even having the culling online. I think it's a good call by JDG to just end up backing off.
Oh, BLG going to get the Dragon. What a very elongated set to play. BLG glad they can stop the stacking here on something like a Zeri Lulu, but Lyric, let's be real. I mean, that play was kind of wild with how fast it got out of hand.
It was insane, and we're going to go straight into a replay right now. But JDG trying to zone Shun off from making his way in. Knight doing a nice job right next to missing, but they just open up this easy turn. Sure, stun comes out, but the Jayce, Yagao's doing a ton of damage at this point in time. He gets locked up. Luckily, the bubble as well from On doing a lot to prevent JDG, but Kanavi just goes so huge, getting these resets, so many low health targets. Does go down in the end, but already did his fair share.
He was close to getting
more than his fair share.
That Sovereign's domination again. That was so close. And again, we talk about Kanavi. Like, historically, he has been King Kanavi for a reason, right? Lyric, he carries. Even right now, what we're looking at is him taking everything for himself. Shun might sync up with his team, but a lot of the times, Kanavi can be his team.
Yeah, Kanavi's close to a 20% like damage share for his team. That's laner level. That's like what top laners normally do. Kanavi
insane.
Now gonna look for his Bin.
Okay, there's Needlework as well on top of Bin. Kanavi wants to kill him. He's 3-1, but can he just damage Heartbreaker? Doesn't get over the wall. Bin with the snip, won't find the range. 369 flashes out as well. There's the flash from Shun, nails him down. Jungle v Jungle battle of Permafrost with melee top laners is just that easy. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you Giga Bin again.
Riftmaker being online is making the difference for BLG. Bin just taking over now, wanting to capitalize, force their way up towards this top side, try to get down some vision before that second Herald spawns.
This is wild. The fact that BLG now 2,000 gold up. Again, Lyric, the lane started as you expect from JDG. They're still like that in the bottom lane. It's 50 CS lead. But top is just this big gaping hole that now as we look at the replay, keeps being set up by Shun time and time again.
Again, Kanavi wanting to look for those invades. They turn on Bin, but gets the W down. The healing's coming out from the ulti, and they're immediately having to flash away. Just not able to put up the same damage on the side of JDG. You're not going to burst out a Gwen with all the healing with Riftmaker coming through. And then the difference between having Sejuani double melee, the passive to keep getting these stuns to be able to finish off the kills.
Well, now 3-0 and 2. You already mentioned the Riftmaker's been picked up by Bin, but he's level 11. Look at the gold comparison top. It's 3,000. He is more than the gold leader BLG versus JDG at this point.
It's absolutely insane and enabling Bin. Me and you were talking about this before we started broadcast today, but it blew my mind that he wasn't in the top 3 of All-Pro.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to single anyone out who was on it, but I definitely think Bin a little bit more deserving than some top laners who might be on Edward Gaming right now. You know, maybe.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Sorry about that.
Hey, no disrespect to Allah. In my mind, he would then be the 4th best top laner, but I think Bin has been insane.
Yeah, I think he really has. And again, not only just regular season, I know that's regular season ranking too, but it's continued into playoffs. A lot of players have very different aspects in playoffs, very different styles, or should I just say, I guess they crumble in playoffs. Some of them rise to the occasion, some of them don't. Bin has gotten even better than he was in the regular season, so he's definitely someone who's risen to the occasion, as he is now supporting almost 10 CS a minute. You guys can't see this, but he's 3k gold ahead, as we said before. Bin right now feels like BLG is core, as they're now moving mid with the Rift Herald, trying to get this turret, as Kanavi and Yagao fighting off. Kanavi, though, can't fight this Jayce. He's got to run away. He's trying to buy some time. His Heartbreaker is up and available, but he won't take it. BLG move away from mid. They've got a minute till Dragon, but they want to fight the fight anyway. On to Kanavi. Need to work over the wall. The range! Oh, he's burning down Kanavi! So close to dying, so close to dying. Sion looking for him, found him, gets him smoked it to death. It's tidal wave.
Gets taken down. JDG trying to capitalize in the mid lane to get some damage down onto this turret. They do see that Bin is spot, so they feel comfortable looking for this.
Again, Kanavi getting punished, and BLG just feeling themselves here. Lyric, we got to talk about one thing that's real. Momentum in LPL playoffs ain't a joke. This is JDG's first series. BLG beat RNG, then Weibo. They've had plenty of time to warm up, and now here in the mid lane, trying to do the same thing again. Got to be on your toes, but I feel like BLG they've just read this early game quite well.
It's also BLG with a different look. Going to things like the Lucian Nami. Sure, Lucian has been the second most played this split, but like you said, it's fallen off a little bit more recently. Not facilitating your bot lane duo, having it a more top lane centric game, and it's looking incredibly good for them so far. Again, we said later on the Zeri's could be able to output that massive damage. You're going to have the front line and the Sion to be able to play through. But the gold lead they've generated with the amount of pick tools they have, like the engage command from the Sejuani, the Nami, it's going to set up really well for BLG to just be able to burst targets out before anyone comes through. And look at Bin. Recalls has Morello a full light him up over 369.
Yeah, Morello's already picked up. That's nuts. We'll look at this replay, though, because Kanavi walked into a Jayce.
Yeah, and Kanavi getting caught out again. They were wanting to angle. I think we're going to wait for Knight to start rotating over and then try to go for the pinch. But BLG, they snip it out, and then Bin gets the nice damage down with the ult in combo with the accelerated shot blast. And Kanavi, with nowhere left to go, he's at least going to be happy that the kill goes over to the Sejuani.
Shun doing a real good job of reacting. Lyric, I mean, we did talk about the team play coming from BLG, but I think Shun has been everywhere this game. Kanavi was focused heavily on bot, but Shun is just linking up so well with the rest of the team, as now here in mid going to help defend, while JDG angling for this mid lane turret again. I will mention, though, while we're in the replay, BLG did pick up the Dragon too, so they find themselves at 3,500 gold in the lead versus our #1 team.
Also having pressure in sides. Look at Bin. He's huge, pushes out that wave, can start heading over, so they can constantly look to overload mid lane with numbers. Force JDG out, and they're going to be able to take down this turret very easily. And for BLG, their game plan is pretty simple going forward. If anyone ever oversteps, Glacial Prison comes out, you have enough burst. You have enough range as well to just take them out. Accelerated Shock Blast plus Culling would pretty much mean the end of Ruler missing Kanavi, anyone on the side of JDG. To where for JDG, it is a little bit harder. Seems like they're still trying to get a little bit closer to some of their next item power spikes, but we need to see Kanavi comboing with Knight, the burst coming through to allow the resets to happen.
And I guess then you want to see JDG wait for Ruler's second, third item as well. Might need to pause, though. Hang on. Kanavi's gone too far forward. JDG wanted to play this mid battle. They've got it to BLG, and Warmog, Sejuani has to flash away. Half HP for both junglers. Tibbers comes out with Culling. Follows through. Elk now getting Rage's Bin with the needlework. He's got one target in mind. His laning partner. At half HP, the Sion now stands as no one dies. It's a face-off yet again with a lot of abilities flying across.
So far, flash is burned by both sides. Shun having to flash with the initial engage, 369 having to get the hell out of dodge and make sure he didn't go down there. But BLG, squarely the ones in control right now, forcing them out. But it looks like Knight still fishing for a potential opportunity for a stun to come through.
Red buff going to be stolen away. Bin already stole the enemy blue buff, so that's both buffs taken away from Kanavi. As Dragon up in 2 minutes 30. We're not even looking at that. Both teams just pivoting around, seeing what else they could take. Lyric, we are A-ramming for a bit in this first game.
JDG feel comfortable that Ruler having enough mobility to keep getting the low. It's Kanavi.
Ulti, 369, ulti's into turret. The tidal wave, though. That tidal wave on is switched on yet again. Shun gets the kill with 369. Ain't tanky enough, Lyric. He's 0 and 4, and he's rolling threes, but how can you not when it feels like the dice is loaded being up against this Gwen?
And just so dicey, honestly, going for that engage. Like, committing so close to the enemy turret, having tools to lock you down coming out from On and Shun if needed. Only needing the Nami there, but still, BLG doing a great job. 5K gold lead, 21 minutes. Woo. And this is one of the things we've seen typical of JDG in the regular season when they go up against other top teams. It's why they've lost 2 other playoff teams, is that when they aren't able to find those heavy early game leads, they're not exactly the same team. They're probably the best team in the world, maybe, at like snowballing a lead if they get it and being able to win out incredibly fast. But if they aren't winning hard in the first 10 minutes, I think JDG have shown that they are very much mortal.
Because again, BLG have set up this game 1, this potential victory, with topside, with the pressures that Shun put up there, you were saying before. Bot got ahead, but Lyric, I mean, Shun then paid a visit bot. He evened out the odds. He heralded bot. He gave some gold back into his AD carry. It feels like it's very well balanced from BLG in this first game. And for JDG, as you said, we're waiting for some sync up here, but there is none. Cullen comes through. Oh, bit of damage onto Ruler missing. Can now absorb a little bit more, but Shun still wants to go in. There's a Sion ulti. It's coming from River. 369 the angle and Tibbers! Knight, he's the one rolling 9s this game. As the kill goes over finally to 369. And Jing Dong may be behind, but they are not forgotten. Kanavi goes in for the engagement. Yagao sends him off. And all of a sudden, that Sion with a fat old 9.
That was huge, though, coming out from Knight to set things up. And now JDG going to use the picks they found to look straight towards the Baron. We're going to see what BLG want to do in response. It looks like they're just going to send their 2 members down to get themselves onto Soul Point.
Beautiful, as you said. Knight being quiet, Lyric. There's been no syncing up, but now JDG, off the back of one play, have Baron in the cusp of their hands. The gold lead minimized from 5,000 now to a measly 1. That was everything for JDG in this first game. As we look at the replay again, based off of L, trying to find the engagement.
Using so much, right? Gale Force culling a lot coming out to try to find that AD carry who didn't even have to burn a flash to get away. Now, Knight with the perfect flash into the Tibbers, instantly on spurs it out. And, you know, we said we wanted to see a combo between Knight and Kanavi, but Knight and 369 showing their tenure together from their time on top esports. Great follow-up by 369 to make sure that these kills are able to come through. And now, what was a 5K gold lead dwindled down to, looks like, less than 2.
That's right. It's nothing, right? I will say JDG, while they're getting the Baron, though, Lyric, as we saw, Dragon Soul Point goes to BLG. So we got 4 minutes where a fight is going to be forced by BLG regardless. I'm just curious as to what JDG can do with the Baron here, Lyric, because we have been A-ramming, fighting for this mid-lane turret for the last 10 minutes. And surely with this Baron, you think this is how they finally open up the map a bit.
Yeah, JDG are going to have to be careful, though, because we can see now, I mean, Knight showing on a wave in top. All of JDG was hovering around mid. BLG was hovering around mid. 369 was actually having to play keep away from Bin being able to link up, but don't want to give any, like, exposed angles for BLG to look to punish. Have Kanavi be that middleman, play up with Knight, make his way back down towards mid, and really just make sure you're using the pressure that the Baron buff is giving you.
Been able to force something up in the top side, get some movement from BLG. Bin still pushing on the side, though. On and Yagao going to be spotted out as Kanavi and Knight just link up. Lyric, this is what you wanted to see. You want to see mid-jungle move as a bit of a unit. And now that they're a bit of a threat, especially with the 2.5 automatic, especially with Kanavi now getting Black Cleaver too. It's like JDG can play with a bit more, but Yagao's damage hurts a bit. But BLG continues to stay mid. Lyric, look at this.
Yeah, Bin trying to find his way in. Knight might be caught out.
Culling there as well. Bin joins the queue as Knight said. Hibbers does come out, but look at Bin. Need to work in the back line. Bin lines them up and knocks them down one more, but Ruler gets out of the way and Kanavi gets the reset. Oh no. JDG have got this Viego going from body to body to body to body. Kanavi, he stuck the fork in the electric power point, and this is the result. On can't get out of the way, but JDG don't care. They'll continue running down as Ruler is just that good again.
Ruler Kanavi taking on 3 members while 369 was 1v2ing on an elk on the opposite side of the fight. It leads to a team fight win for the side of JDG. It leads to 2 turrets, and Kanavi gonna enjoy the spoils of victory, even take away some camps from Shun and make sure no more gold is going over than necessary. We're gonna see here in the replay, it's actually BLG who want to start things up. They get Ruler to jump over the wall. They think Knight's left on his lonesome, so immediately go to burst him out. But it's going to be here. He buys time with that stopwatch, and then the fight gets separated. 369 doing a great job zoning away Elkin on. It looks like Bin's able to do enough on the opposite side, but still, Ruler able to kite this back. He's not getting on as a ton of DPS to take down the Gwen, and it's allowing for Reset City to follow through with the Viego.
Everyone but one taken down. JDG looking pretty happy on this one. As Lyric, we did say that, you know, BLG were 5,000 gold ahead. That was a while ago. Maybe 6 minutes, 7 minutes, I don't know. There's been a lot of kills in this game, but after that 6,500 damage Ruler in that last team fight, JDG now solidly up by 1,000 gold. Lyric, it feels like they should be pretty comfortable now with 3 items on this man too, considering that JDG have a dragon to fight for in a minute 10, and for BLG, the game doesn't feel as easy as it was moments ago.
Yeah, we're at the point now where Ruler is going to be the big man on the Rift. For JDG, it's going to be all about how they can protect and make sure enemies can't find access to the backline. Kind of like how 369 was able to do last time around. I just want to reference that play one more time because it's actually really tragic. 369 almost killed Elk. He E'd, it missed, so he tried to flash auto him, and just at that moment, Elk also was able to flash away. So, I mean, had 369 held the E and then maybe just did it after he flashed, could have even been another kill. Sorry, 369. Sure. 1-4-1 is where you sit for now because of it.
I mean, again, he's had a really rough game, but 369, some of these engages have been on point, so how 369 links up with the rest of JDG has been hyped as Kanavi and Shun face off. JDG want to walk into this river because it's Soul Point and Infernal Soul, but Kanavi caught out Heartbreaker over the wall and Wild Growth Lyric. JDG might be in control, but they just burned 2 big ultis.
Yeah, remember though, no flashes on either of the 80 carries, so we got to keep our eyes on both Elk and Ruler.
Night again! Oh, and 369 piles it up! The top esports duo. They haven't lost any of that synergy, have they? That was nasty, and Knight, you are my MVP straight away as Ruler jumps into the enemy team. Elk takes him out with the final blow, but still it's a 1-for-1. Yagao running for his life is missing, and 369 force him onto the wrong side of the rift. Lyric, I think while they're doing that, JDG are going to try and end.
Yeah, just preventing Yagao from going for the back. They have about 20 seconds, so I think it'll be a little bit dicey if they can actually full-on end off this one. I wonder if they'll even try if they'll just default to going and picking up that dragon, which is what it looks like they'll do good. Again, look at those death timers. No way an end was going to be able to come through, but still, further their gold lead even more. They're going to pick themselves up a dragon, deny Soul going over from BLG, and JDG walk away happy from that fight.
Oh, what do they? No, hang on. Yeah, look, BLG want to take it in. That's bin, that's bin, that's bin. He's level 15. Needlework is available, but he has to ghost to make it in time. However, Dragon's already down. He walks, finds nothing. JDG deny the Soul, pick up some stats themselves, and Lyric. They are still in control with now a 3K gold lead at 29 minutes of the game, based on this massive play from 369 and Knight again.
We're going to see here, right? Knight finding the opportunity, huge 2-man stun coming through and getting it onto the key member of the Gwen. It seems like they're realizing, hey, we actually don't need to try to punish Elk for his lack of flash or really respect him too much as a carry threat with how far ahead our Zeri's gotten. And they just focus the key members as Ruler. You know, maybe being a little bit too ambitious, but it does make sure that they get these final kills on the board. And now JDG just try and pounce their way through the base. QSS picked up for Rulers. Flash is going to be up soon, so he's going to be able to play on a nice edge like he was before.
Shun has to be careful though. 369 ain't as easy to knock down as it was before Lyric. It's getting to that point in the game where the Jayce is hitting 369. He's hitting Knight, who's even got help. Kanavi, right? It's struggling a little bit here for BLG in their territory as they get forced out away from this Baron that they're trying so hard to protect. Hang on a minute, Shun running forward. We're just not stopping here in the mid lane. Bin lines them down. This could be a good angle as the needlework flies through 369. Ulti ain't good. The tidal wave misses though. And Yagao's caught out. He holds onto his flash for the meantime. BLG have used a lot. JDG can say the same, but Ruler's still firing. He's got flash. He's got ulti. It's a Zeri moment. Incoming. He finds the launch as he flashes Ruler into the middle of the enemy team. That's Gen GJG for you. Sets up Kanavi as he goes into melee. Never mind. JDG will still win the fight, but Kanavi decides to go a little bit too deep. However, for JDG, this fight feels like it's locked in the bag as Elf.
They've minions. They can just end.
By themselves. Lyric, the TP, as you said, they're going to go for it.
Yeah, they're just going to look to push. As long as they can stop these backs from coming through, we're going to see if Finn manages to get it as missing. Yeah, I don't know how comfortable he should be standing next to that Fed Gwen missing, but... Oh,
okay, well,
Elf's going to go down.
There you go, Lyric, just like that. I mean, Bin's going to now finally going back to base onto Knight, who's taking turret shots. Need to work. Will come out as well onto Knight. Oh, the damage is nuts. Bin might even save the game here with the final piece of needlework to clear the way. So Lyric, it's not over, but it's getting harder and harder for BLG to defend some of these plays.
BLG just really suffering right now. Just consistently, the amount of CC that JDG have, how tanky 369 was. Like, sure, 369 got chunked really low in that last fight, but he ate so many key ults from BLG, and it goes to show why, like, you usually don't invest too much in accelerating your top lane when we do have these types of matchups where it's so easy for something like a Sion to be relevant even when he does get set so far behind. Kanavi, who was getting caught out so much earlier in the game, also getting set up by the damage coming out from Knight and Ruler. Like, he was getting picked off quite a bit early on. Now look at him, 9-3-5 on this Viego.
Really big performance from the brink of getting caught out a couple of times by Shun. He started this game off, or at least in the mid-game, 3-3-5, and was, well, less assist, but you know what I mean. This jungler was getting picked off by BLG as a whole, and Shun was a big part of why. But Lyric, this game has been so back and forth. It's a 33-kill game in 32 minutes. We're going to have another fight soon for the Infernal Dragon. We're going to look at this last fight as Ruler just decides to go Hail Mary.
Running him down, doing a great job, getting out these flashes, and again, it's buying time for people like Kanavi to get in the mix, utilize the ultimate, get the reset, and with that, they can just keep closing the distance with that ult. Get closer and closer, get more kills online. Elk will have IE up now, so at least your Lucian at a point, he's incredibly strong. But BLG, always the team on the back foot, always the team having to worry about being engaged on. Ruler now doesn't have flash, so that could be a way. Single him out, take him down. But again, we're at a point now where even Kanavi's a threat.
Yep. There's so many angles to look at for JDG. They start the Baron again, the poke from Yagao. Meaningful, but not exponential. JDG pull off of the Baron. All right, Lyric. They're now moving towards that Infernal Dragon coming up in 30 seconds. And as you said, Ruler, he does have some ways to get out. He's got a QSS, as well as the Ding Dong Bell from Missing. It is up and available, so JDG playing with a lot of good tools here as Infernal looks like BLG are like, let's forget it. Let's try and force them to Baron.
Trying to at least take away the vision, get their own down to get some nice wards over towards the Baron to try and spawn out whatever shenanigans JDG are going to go for. But now Dragon, you have to be on both teams' mind. It's spawning in 1 second.
Yeah.
Looks like JDG with control are still the team who can posture towards it. The BLG trying to just play with the fact that they can threaten Baron at any time.
I mean, Ruler's just taking it by himself. This is just going to go down. It's going to be the third Dragon here. And with that third Dragon down, now BLG know. Baron is going to start, though. Look how quickly it goes down with the Gwen. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. The zoning only on Denied as Kanavi ready to go in, but no steal. BLG sneak the Baron. It was at the cost of the Dragon, but again, Knight with a two-man onto Bin as well, their core carry. He has to need to work over, but Ruler catches him out. When you have Knight on your team, you're okay. Kanavi following up, Elk will kill him as well, and just like that, JDG might take the Baron team straight to court in their own base. This Knight, he'll get another stun, baits him in, he'll die for it, but Ruler's there to clean house. Onto Shun, he'll take a while to die, but you better believe that's the finishing blow.
And now JDG, with all these kills, are finally going to get their way to start making it to taking game one.
Lyric, they got smiles on their face, man. Knight is cheering, and so he should. Ruler may get the pride of the kills, but ladies and gentlemen, Knight on Annie was just sublime. 369 recovered well, and JDG is a unit came back from this game that looked doomed in a very JDG way.
It was looking rough, right? They started to fall behind. Actually, early on, it was looking kind of split. If we're going to start from the very beginning, right? We have one team hard winning and focusing through bot, which was JDG. We have BLG doing the opposite and really just punishing 369 in that top lane. Bin doing a great job in that 1v1, then starting to utilize and bring Shun into the mix. But then Bin just got so huge, it looked like there was no answer. But it was Knight being so decisive, punishing just slight missteps, slight oversteps from members like Bin, right? Bringing up the Timbers, getting the two-man stuns, great combos with 369, again, just showing the longevity of how well these two have worked together. And from then on, we got to a point where Ruler was just too big for anyone on the side of BLG to contend with.
It's rough. Again, you know, Ruler having some pretty pivotal fights, but missing alongside him a good performance past that mid-game. And I think overall, we have to be commending people like 369 for suffering so much or having a really rough early game. But then again, his angles with Knight were perfect. JDG's team fighting lyric. This is something that you were telling me that JDG go above just winning their lane. Like they're not a win lane and have to win, you know, win game from there.
Yeah.
I think I'm trying to say, yeah.
Yeah, I think like when you looked at how other teams like especially TES were winning their games, it was like strong laners, but then it's like, then what? With JDG, it's like incredibly strong lanes, which opens up for Kanavi to play again the heavy invades that we saw from him doing early on. But they're really good at utilizing those pressures to actually take objectives. They're actually really strong when it comes to 5v5s because you have people like 369 who are great on like engage, are great to be a flanker. Knight kind of the same, can play, you know, engage roles like we saw him on Annie, can be a flanker if he's on something like an Ari, can be, you know, a control mage and play out like a Syndra. Like this team just has so many different modes, which is why they have so many different ways to win. We've only really seen them struggle when they start to fall behind, but I mean, they circumvented that this game, right? They kept there in the game. They showed their experience, and Knight showing, hey, he might crumble when it comes to international pressure, but even in playoffs, he's always been someone who could show these, like, you know, 10 out of 10 performances to get his team going.
Yeah, and again, like Knight, I feel like Knight turned that game around when we saw 5K gold lead. We saw a lot of BLG pressure coming through for that Infernal Soul. Knight's pickoffs, which came by the twos each time with those tipper ultis, were insane. And he didn't get many kills, but he got a hell of a lot of assists for a good reason. And Lyric, as we know with that comp, once they start picking up a kill, it's like dominoes, right? Kanavi starts resetting, and then Zeri can just take it away. That 25-minute fling, that big turnaround, hell, even the 21, 22-minute jump up there for JDG, that's Knight, baby.
All I know is in elementary school, they teach you the buddy system. And the buddy system clearly is not a good system when facing JDG. It just gives them more kills. It just gives them more kills. Don't go in pairs of two. Either go by yourself, hope for the best, or, you know, stay as this tight five-man core who, you know, doesn't give those over. But hell, honestly, BLG, even a lot of times they were engaged on, right? The other members were just right behind them. It was just pixels off where Knight was able to take advantage and set people like Ruler up for success. So, yeah, I definitely think we saw Ruler end up being the big carry, but it definitely felt like Knight's Annie was the one facilitating all of it.
So do you think we should be talking about BLG and how they handled that game, or do you feel like it was just these minute windows that Knight pulled out? Because I think BLG were definitely in control, and we saw Bin start using that lead a little bit, but Lyric, then it was less about the Gwen, and again, more about the Zeri, more about how JDG came together and how many threats they had versus how fed Bin was.
I definitely think there's questions like BLG have to ask about how they played out in that mid game, and especially how they were like working to take vision as a unit. Even Bin's items we didn't really get to talk about in game, but like, you know, going for an outright Morello's, kind of setting behind the large damage spikes you can get out of something like a Rabadon's, or if you went for an earlier Void Staff to contend with, you're probably going to be hitting the sign a lot of time. I think there were definitely some things that they could have done differently in that game to, again, be able to actually push us home, because 5K gold lead, I mean, they should have been able to do more.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda, but they didn't. JDG with a comeback and an opening for game one that is absolutely